come link with your boy, come link. Come and blow some trees with your boy, let's link. We can watch a flick if you're bored, come link. We can joyride and explore, link. Baby, come link with your boy, come link. Come and blow some trees with your boy, let's link. We can watch a flick if you're bored, come link. We can joyride and explore.
You're now tuned into Linked Up with Lux.
Yo, what's going on? It's your boy Lux, and today's episode is called The Money Trap: How to Stop Surviving and Start Living. Now, everybody in life will tell you that your choices have put you into the predicament that you're in, and your reality is the way that it is because your choices when you were younger, your choices when you were older, your choices when you were in that last relationship. But it's like at the end of the day, life be lifing, as some would say. And it's a horrible feeling when you wake up every single day, right? You're grateful to be employed. It might not be the best job, but you got some money coming in. You are grateful to be able to at least, be getting that direct deposit, whenever your money does hit your account. But what is the point of getting paid if whatever you're making is not enough? Now, some may say, well, you have to live within your means, you are this and that. Like, people used to always tell me, just because I had the means to be able to get nice things, whether it was finance or good credit, a new cell phone, they made it seem like I was just out here walking into these places, throwing $1,000 on the table, like, give me the latest now, like that's not the case. I have been grateful to be able to have had the credit limits that I've had and have been able to work and grind and make the money that I have acquired over time. But life be getting hard, so when you wake up every single day and you go to that job and you know that it's not enough, like it's there, right? But once you pay this, once you pay that, what are you eating? Nothing. Once you do this, once you do that, how is that going to get paid? Right. And then people, again, are so judgmental because they're going to make it seem like, well, again, you're living outside of your means. You need to cut back on stuff. And then you literally will give them the list. OK, what am I going to cut back on? OK, no cell phone. OK, no lights. OK, no car. Well, you should get something cheaper, or you should do this and you should do that. People will always have an opinion on what they think you should do, right? But what matters the most is what you feel is best for you, because everybody that's going to be voicing these opinions, I can guarantee they don't sit there and critique their own life the same way that they will literally judge yours, because people can say and look from the outside in, well, you got new shoes on, so if you weren't buying new shoes, you would have more money to, pay your bills, right? Because these shoes here I've been saving up for, or these shoes here, they were on sale and I put it on Affirm and I'm paying $20 a month. Like, make it make sense. Oh, well, technically you're still spending that money. Yeah, well, technically I am, but it's not coming out at one point in time. And by the time that I actually do pay it off, I have made that amount of that item, $100 times 50. So it's like, what's your point? So that's why you can't sit there and listen to people. But again, back to how I started, waking up every single day, knowing that you're going to this dead-end job. You have to go there, put a fake smile on your face. You have to act like everything is okay. You have to act like everything is fine. People, and they're in your ear. You got coworkers that are pissing you off. Whole time you're wondering, how am I going to pay my light bill? How am I going to pay my car note? How am I going to pay that loan installment? How am I going to pay my rent? How am I going to juggle all of this? How am I going to feed my kids? How am I going to feed myself? How am I going to buy diapers, right? But outside people, your life, your choices, your life, your choices. That's why you can't listen to outside opinions, because however you get into your situation is your business. Life is short, but the most important takeaway from all of this is, even though if you were living irresponsibly and you got yourself into the situation, you can't be mad. It is what it is, but that doesn't mean you should live in, freaking, like, you shouldn't be suffering, because life is literally life. Like, we're stressing over man-made currency. So every single day we wake up mad about how we're going to do this, how we're going to do that, we are taking away from our quality of life. Because think about it. They want to go out to a restaurant. You're turning it down. Why? Because you don't have no money. Why? Because you're trying to save money. Why? Because you're struggling, And then it's like family, they want to come around, they want to do certain things. You don't participate. Why? Because you don't have your share. Why? Because you got other things you need to worry about, like how are you going to pay that loan off? Why? Because you just simply don't have the money or the time that they want to use to have fun and enjoy life. You need to be locking in, trying to do Uber, freaking DoorDash, freaking Instacart, whatever the case may be. So we don't make time for joy. We don't make time for ourselves. We don't make time for our kids. Our kid wants a freaking ice cream. We're sitting there looking at our phone, looking at our freaking empty wallet like, it's just ice cream. I mean, it's just $5. It's just $6, but we don't get it. We literally don't have it. And it's like, dang, like now my kids are suffering simply because of my circumstances that got me into this position. And a lot of us are struggling because we were fighting for our kids. That's the reality of a lot of people. We're trying to provide for our kids. We're trying to keep a roof over our heads. So certain things might go delinquent. The kids needed this. The kids needed that. We're putting it on this. We're taking out a loan. We're doing this. We're doing that. But at the end of the day, it's very stressful. But again, mostly that most important thing that you need to understand, I'm choked up there, is that if you have a job, be grateful that you do have a job. I get it. It might not be paying $1 million, but at least be able to reflect on it and be like, okay, at least I do have a job. It's paying something. It might not be what you want it to be. It might not be going in your pocket how you would like it to be, but it is something, even if it doesn't seem like nothing. Because think about if you didn't have it. If you didn't have it, nothing will get paid at all. All right. Now your car. If you do have a car, be grateful that you do have a car. Be grateful, hopefully, that it can still get you from point A to point B. Now, does it have a lot of issues? Probably so. Does it need a lot of repairs? Probably so. Does it use a lot of gas? Probably so. But at least you have to be grateful that you do have something for now. It might not be forever, but for now, it gets you to work. It allows you to pick up your kids. It allows you to, move around. It allows you to be able to make a little extra money on the side. You know what I'm saying? So be grateful, because there's a lot of people that don't have cars at all. Now, this isn't one of those rants where it's just like, oh, there's people out there that would only wish they had what you had. Although that is true, it's not more so about what other people think. It's about you. We're focusing on you right now. We want you to lock in and be like, hey, you know what? I do have a car. Cool. Even if you had to go through, freaking, mountains, you had to climb mountains just to get it, to save for it, whatever the case may be, you got it, right? You got it. You needed it. You wanted it. You got it. It is what it is. Now, that's it. That's that on that, right? So when it comes to life, now, this whole point of this episode is to just really think about how badly we miss out on opportunities due to our financial problems. We miss out on life. Just look at you now. I need you to just take a moment, breathe, and analyze yourself in this current state. Look at yourself in the mirror. Look at the fact that you're getting older. Think about when you were younger. and you were in your youthful state and you had less responsibilities, but you were out here still having fun and making things shake. We're getting older. So to sit here and to care what society thinks about what we choose to do is pointless, because we're all going to die. So people don't understand that mindset when I say that, because I'm not saying like, man, we're all gonna die. You can die tomorrow. Go run up your credit card for 10,000. I mean, hey, if that's what you want to do. I mean, it's the truth though. Life is short, but at least you want to be able to be somewhat stable while you're here. So I'm saying, don't feel bad for running up that credit card for $10,000. Don't feel bad for having those loans because you needed money to, pay your direct deposit for your apartment, whatever the case may be, or your car needed a repair. Don't feel bad. You utilized your resources. At that moment, you were qualified to get that, and you did what it did. I mean, hey, sure, the interest rate sucks. Of course they want you to keep paying. Of course they want you to pay the minimum. But think about how crazy it is though to be paying over $300-$400 a month on a loan, and the principal balance, it only has like $200, but you're paying $300-$400 a month. So it's like, if you were to just apply, if you were able to apply that $300, $400 to the principal, think about how fast you would pay that loan off. But if everything is interest, these freaking banks don't care about us. These corporations don't care about us. And I get it. No one's forcing us to sign any contracts, no obligations and things like that. And everything is all based upon your credit worthiness for the most part, depending on the company. But it's just like, when you think about it, it's really messed up. Now, I'm going to tell you a little about myself. I started off young. I got my first credit card maybe at maybe 20, 19 or whatever. And since that time, I've never had any late payments, right? I started off with one credit card. I think they started me off with like maybe 500, then it bumped to 1,000. So it's like, at that point in my life, I felt like the man. I'm taking trips, I'm renting cars, and I was truly living life for real, and obviously whatever I was spending, I clearly, made sure I paid the minimum, or that I was able to pay it down significantly. But I felt this false sense of wealth, even at that point, right? Because I knew I had a cushion. I felt like I was comforted. And I won't ever forget the first purchase that I bought with my credit card. It was at Best Buy, and it was one of those waterproof Bluetooth speakers. Now, honestly, it might have been like $80 or $100, but when I made that purchase, I panicked. I'm looking like, oh man, $100. What if I don't have that money? Oh, how am I gonna pay it back? Like, because they talk all of this intimidating, lingo when it comes to credit cards and things like that. So it had me like frantic, but I did it, right? And eventually I paid it off, and I was like, hey, it's like a tool. Like, it fronted me to get something, and I paid it back later, and then next thing you know, my credit limit went with that specific bank, up to, it went from 1,000 to 5,000. And then next thing you know, 10,000. And it's like, whenever you are making these payments, they always surprise you when you least expect it. For me, though, it was always when I almost missed my payment. And I'm not going to lie, it always happened like this. Rather, like, I almost missed it, or I had a high balance and I'm sitting here like, oof, my bank probably doesn't like me. Oof. Next thing you know, they're like, hey, $10,000 credit limit. You're a great candidate. And that is how they get you. So when I had that limit, nobody can tell me anything. I I had this false sense of comfort because I'm like, if anything happens, if my car needs this and needs that, I can put it on a card, whatever. And whatever the case may be, I felt a false sense of wealth. Okay, right? And then it went from that card to me getting another card, and then I got another card. And don't make it seem like I was doing it like irresponsibly. I had reasons to explore, and that wasn't like it was like years like apart. So again, I rocked with that one $10,000 card for the longest because I didn't need any other card. And then I got another card and they gave me a crazy limit. And then I ended up getting another card just due to some perks and stuff like that, like more so recently in life, like maybe the last 2 years. And then they gave me a crazy limit, and also with the increases. So I'm sitting here, with all of this limit and this high limit, and I'm feeling secure, right? So again, whatever it might have been, put it on a card, put it on a card, put it on a card. But then it got to a point in life where my card, well, like my main card, that $10,000 card, it got to the point where it was basically maxed out, right? And this is before I got my two other cards. So when I got to that point of that card almost being maxed out, I was working full time, right? And I will never forget this. I was working the graveyard shift, and I was delivering medical equipment, and like into hospitals. So every single time I came to work, my car was probably at 9,999. I ain't got no food to eat. I didn't know how I was gonna get gas. Like what I was making, it didn't allow me to get out of that gap. Like I couldn't even, and this is when I had less debt, right? I mean, I'm talking lower car payment because I had a different car at this time. I didn't have the 2 or 3 other cards that, were on top of this. I didn't have the personal loans that I had out. This was a $10,000 limit, and I'm sitting here working, busting my butt at work every single day. And I can't even buy myself a Snicker bar out the vending machine. Honestly, that probably would have been the only thing I could have bought one shift. So I couldn't get a Wawa sandwich. Like I'm hungry. Like it's freaking midnight. Like I can't get an energy drink, but I was still expected to work. Clearly the job don't care about me being broke. They're looking at it like we're paying you. Nobody knows what you're really going through because it be the people that you see that be prancing around that have a big smile on their face, and you never really would expect them to be going through anything. But it be us. It be us who be struggling. It be us who deter plans because we don't have the money. We don't have the funds. We're planning around occasions to try to, avoid spending money. And I'm going to tell you this. I knew it was bad when it was Mother's Day, right? Or a birthday, for my mom. I always got her something. It was to a point where I was getting her, like name brand stuff, like nothing like crazy, but rather it was like a perfume. Again, it was Afterpay, Affirm, whatever it was, but it was significant. And I'll never forget, it was recently, I think it was Mother's Day that passed. I couldn't get her anything. That's how I knew I was in trouble. That's how I knew I'm like, all right, I'm in too deep, because it's like when you go from doing something every year, and it gets to that point where you just can't do it anymore, that's when you hit rock bottom, right? And it was only a matter of time, when everything else was going to collapse. Now, this whole time, I've never had any negative remarks like on my credit report, so I've been doing my best to keep up, make this minimum payment, pay that and Affirm, notice, see me, what screwed me over now more so recently, and I know I'm kind of all over the place, is Affirm. Before, Affirm didn't really report, to major credit bureaus, but Affirm for me was a freaking gem. I'm talking about the top tier. Like, you're telling me that I can take this $100 payment, split it into 4 payments, and pay no interest? Oh, and I can get the product now? Sign me up. So that was what I was doing with everything. New shoes, Affirm. New clothes, Affirm. New freaking gadget, Affirm. Because it was maintainable for me. Because I'm like, I ain't really got that $100 right now to just, front. I know I'm gonna get it, but if I can pay, what I'm saying, half, whatever, $30 today and pay the rest, like, it is what it is. It worked out. And I had a lot of payments that I had to put on Affirm to retain a lawyer. That is what really got me in the real messed up situation. Now, keep in mind, Affirm, when I started, I'm talking about these are pay in 4 installments where they're small. I mean, maybe you might get a $300, $400 purchase, $500. It's like, ooh, bro, you tripping. But once I realized you can spend thousands, thousands at a time on Affirm. And again, I don't know. They gave me that based upon my credit worthiness or my, background and relationship with them. But once I realized that, it was like, I have the ultimate gem right here. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, if I can split this $2,000 payment, boom, 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 it made things easier for me. Of course, when I started to get into those more hefty, lendings, obviously they might hit you with an interest charge or a fee or whatever it is, but it still made more sense in the moment to be able to, get by and not feel like, man, I just had to pay $2,000 to my lawyer. Man, I just had to pay 3 bands, so that was a useful tool. But as of recently, they've been screwing me over, and needless to say that we're not on the best of terms anymore. All right. So anyways, my main point is, because again, I'm all over the place. We can't sit here and care about what people think, but life is precious. So you have to put you living life, enjoying life every single moment, above anything else. And it's bad when it gets to a point where you can't even just wake up, go outside, breathe in, enjoy being alive. Enjoy, Mother Nature. Go for a walk. Go sit on the bench by the lake. Stuff like that means so much to me. And when I'm not able to do that because, oh man, I gotta pay a bill. Oh man, I gotta figure out how I'm gonna couple $500. Oh man, I gotta figure out how. Oh man, and I'm borrowing money from people. I've never been that person. I promise you. Anything that I borrowed, it was always like, hey, I got you for sure on my next payday. And then, it got to the point where I was doing that. And then it got to the point where now I'm not paying them back, or I got notes. I literally have notes of, oh, this person 5,000. Oh, this person 3,000. Oh, this person 1,000. Like, that's insane. I never thought that I would personally fall down that rabbit hole, because when I was up, I didn't play that. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't like, either you gonna pay me back or you're not. Like, I never been that type of person. If I borrowed something from you, I always made sure I paid you back, so that way you couldn't say anything, but it got so bad for me just trying to survive that I just did what I had to do. Like, I owe so much money, and I'm grateful. I'm very appreciative for those people, but now I got to take control over my financial situation and do what I got to do. You know what I'm saying? And I'm saying all of this to say to those who feel like they're at rock bottom, don't feel like you don't have options, because you might. If you have to file bankruptcy, if you have to, do this. And another thing, something that made me realize that these creditors, there you go, they don't care about you, right? So hear me out. I'm talking about, I was making thousands of dollars a week. I'm talking about up to 2 bands sometimes a week, thousands thousands, right? So the money was coming in, and obviously the creditors, they're looking at it like, oh man, he's constantly getting deposits, 3,000 one week, 2,000 one week. Oh man, he got it. Let's raise his credit limit. Let's raise his credit limit. So of course I'm utilizing the credit. I'm like, hey, okay, you just raise my credit limit. I'm gonna go rent a car. I'm gonna go take a trip. I'm gonna go get a hotel. I'm gonna pay my bills on it. Whatever the case may be. But I'm talking about my credit almost at one point was close to 800. But then I've always teetered in like 730, 750. Like it was always high sevens. Even when I hit six, I was like, yeah. But again, I've always had a perfect credit score. That was never an issue. So when it went from that, right, to going to me like trying to actually be like, you know what? Let me try to get a consolidation loan, just so I can try to like recircle, like, respin around all of this and just kind of make things more maintainable because, I'm paying you 500, I'm paying you 200, I'm paying you 100. I wanted to make it simplified. And I figured, you know what? That's responsible. That's a responsible thing to do. And that way that frees up extra money, because I would have hoped to get a better rate, for all of them in one. And my bank told me, okay, yeah, consolidation. Okay, yeah, you want a loan? Okay, let me see. Let me look into this. Okay, oh, and how much you need? Okay, okay. Oh, and what's your reasoning? Okay, perfect. That's good. Really responsible. We appreciate that. Give me 1 second. Okay. So after talking to the underwriter, unfortunately, we're unable to fulfill your requests, and we just hit your credit, by the way, because we had to do a hard pull. But anyways, we're unable to complete your request, unfortunately, this time. It's just, and it's like, bro, like, y'all know I'm good. Y'all see the money coming in, right? But they're very strict and very specific, because although the money was coming in the past, and although they're seeing that credit score is amazing, they didn't want to approve me. So here I am, like literally with a slap to the face. I'm just sitting here baffled, like, how is this? How did you come to this conclusion? I'm really confused. And it's multiple times this happened. I'm like, all right, maybe my income from my employer didn't really match up at this time, or whatever, because I did transition. I can't even talk. I did transition into a regular job at a certain point. So I was kind of like in the in between phase. So they didn't see that consistent income at that time. So I applied again when things were more stable and consistent. Oh yeah, no. And then again, oh, okay, good idea. No. So at that point, I'm like, and this is my credit union, the same one that gave me the $10,000. So I'm sitting here like, y'all know me, y'all know I'm good for it, but y'all don't care. Y'all don't care, and it is what it is. I get it. Everything is all based on their algorithm and their system and things like that, but it's just like that made me really realize, why am I stressing myself out to maintain a perfect credit score if you literally are going to deny me when I actually want things to better myself? Right? Instead, you want to raise my credit limit because you want me to default. You want me to pay the minimum. You want me to be tempted to use and use and use and use. And that is unfortunate. And that's why, it's like you got to come to that, decision on your own. What is best for you? Obviously, it's always best to be responsible and to pay people what you owe. But, based on your own situation, you got to come to the conclusion. Are you going to sit there and stress every single day, while you're paying these billion-dollar companies the bottom line and they're screwing you over and it's not going towards the principal? Or are you going to take control of your life again and do what you have to do, to be able to reset, start fresh, and start over. Stop worrying about a credit score. Stop worrying about, oh, what people are going to think. Stop worrying about, oh, well, if I do this, I'm not going to be able to do this. If I do this, I had a perfect credit score and I still can do what I wanted to do. It looks good on paper, right? But if you ain't got the money to back things up, or you're not, making this and that, it's like there's no point. Now, again, disclaimer, I'm not saying go and screw your credit up and just let things be delinquent. Be responsible about it. You know what I'm saying? If you can pay it, great. But if you feel like you're genuinely drowning, explore other options, start fresh, and be more responsible moving forward. But do not feel like you are trapped. Do not allow your life to go by every single day and you're wasting it. You're literally stressed. You're depressed. You can't even enjoy birthday parties. You can't even enjoy family barbecues, family gatherings, because you're stressing. How am I going to pay this? How am I going to do this? How can I do this? How am I going to be able to do that? Retake control over your life and enjoy every single moment, because I promise you, being happy in life is going to be way more beneficial for you than to sit there stressing every single day trying to figure out, how am I going to pay this? How am I going to take care of this? How am I going to do that? That's all I got to say. I'm not a financial advisor. I just speak from life experience. All right. It's your boy Lux. I'm out.